7 Habits Keeping You Broke. Hello and welcome back to another episode of SugarMamma's Fireplay, the podcast where we ignite your financial independence, fuel your early retirement goals and dreams, and help you build long-term sustainable wealth and independence. I am your host, financial planner, Canna Campbell, and today we're diving into, not just eye-opening, perhaps even a little bit confronting, and that is 7 habits keeping you broke. So this episode is not about shame or blame. It's simply about awareness and empowerment. When we can actually honestly look at the sneaky little daily habits that quietly drain our bank accounts and really, let's be honest, hold us back from actually achieving what we're more than capable of doing, we can actually start to change these toxic habits. And that's when the magic happens, that shift, that breakthrough that I always talk about, that I want for you. And when this happens, our bank accounts look a lot fuller and we feel so much more prouder of what we are doing and the choices that we're making. And we start to realize that as those bank accounts grow and there's more savings than what we expected, you can actually put that money towards something exciting that's going to improve our financial situation even further. And perhaps that awareness might even elevate or flick the switch, changing them from the toxic habits keeping us broke to the wealth-creating habits helping make us richer. So together in this episode, let me help you take a radical responsibility for your financial future and let's do something about it together starting right now. I really hope you're as excited as I am. So sit back, relax, and let's expose those habits holding us back and change them for good. All right, habit number 1 has got to be spending without a plan. I am making this habit number 1 for a very good reason. If you don't tell your money where to go, it will disappear without you even realizing. A classic sign of this is when you are about a week or maybe even a few days before payday and there is barely anything left in your savings account. You're scratching your head going, oh my goodness, where did all that money go? Like, how have I run short so soon? The chances are that you have probably been winging it, just tapping, waving that card, that credit card, buying things here and there. And now you are literally living paycheck to paycheck, or even worse. When we spend without a plan, we're actually quite often wasting money on the things that we don't really need or truly value. And that money that's been wasted could have actually been put towards something important, something valuable, something exciting, such as building up our savings account, whether it be saving for a deposit, saving to invest, or maybe just emergency saving. Or on that idea of investing, that money could have gone towards our investment portfolios or even helping us prepare for retirement so that we can potentially retire sooner or retire with more money. So to combat this, you need to have some instructions in your life where you decide when, where, and how you want to spend your money. Notice how I've said this is not about not spending, it's about spending with a plan. So this plan is called a budget. Now, despite what you might think, a budget is not restrictive. It is actually empowering. I really love our family budget and my own personal budget because it keeps me in check. And I definitely spend. Just look at my personal social media account and you'll see that I do like to spend, but I spend responsibly with a boundary and with a plan. Now, when you have a budget, it actually gives you freedom to spend in alignment, conscious alignment, intentional alignment with your own personal money values. It gives you really clear instructions, almost like a recipe to follow. And best of all, it gives you boundaries. It keeps you safe. It stops you getting in trouble. It also helps minimize any regrets. So if you like to dine out in lovely restaurants once a week, no problem whatsoever. Just make sure that you put it in your budget with a spending plan and limit. If you love fashion or you love buying yourself a beautiful bunch of flowers, because that's where your value system is, that makes you feel special, that makes you feel good. Great. I love that you have that awareness. It is completely fine to go and do that. Just make sure it is in your budget so that when you go and buy those beautiful flowers for yourself, or you go and buy yourself a new pair of shoes, you actually have a limit as to how much you can spend on yourself, and that you really value what you are actually doing, because it fits within your budget safely and it's not ever jeopardizing your own cash flow and financial health. This also goes for going to the supermarket. Recently, I've had a few conversations with people who say that they actually headed to the supermarket without a shopping list and without a budget as a spending limit as to how much they can spend or plan to spend. Can I strongly recommend you create a spending plan even with your groceries, whether it be $250 per week, $300 a week, or $500 a week. When you do shop, shop with a plan, shop with a limit, and make sure you're buying the things that you love, value, use, and appreciate. So essentially, at the end of the day, what I'm recommending you do is do a budget. And within those budgets, you give yourself spending limits. And even better, within your budget, you can actually put in a special savings plan or even investing plan. Try and set it up so it's automatic, and try and set it up so that it actually comes out the moment you get paid. So for example, if you get paid on the 1st of every month, make sure that, say, $200 per month or $300 per month or fortnight or whatever way you get paid automatically comes out, and that money goes into a separate savings account or your investment portfolio or super, depending on what is appropriate for you. That way you are taking the money out before you can spend it, and because it's in your budget, you're in control at all times. So let's stop that habit of spending without a plan. Habit number 2, mindless small purchases. I was going to say it's the classic example is the $5 coffee, but thanks to the rising cost of living, it's not really a $5 coffee anymore. Actually, I can't even remember when I spent $5 on a coffee. They're more likely $6, $6.50, or someone even told me they spent $8.50 on a coffee the other day. It is these unconscious decisions that carry the problem. As the saying goes, small leaks sink big ships. It's Uber Eats here, one quick online shop there, just buying a simple top, $29, just buying, some new sneakers that you need, $120 there. And then it might be just something really simple, like grabbing a croissant, which is one of my vices, or a muffin, or a quick smoothie, acai bowl. These little purchases, $15 there, $7 there, $29 there, $59 there. You better believe they really do add up, and they add up quickly. Now, there is nothing wrong with these purchases when they're done in moderation, and that they're, of course, part of your spending plan and within your budget. I want you to spend money, and I want you, of course, to support the small businesses around you when you do these sorts of things. But we need to remember, too much of one thing or the same thing is never good. If we're getting a takeaway smoothie every day, do we really value that smoothie like we would if we got it, say, once a week or once a fortnight? No. And this is why that mindlessness becomes toxic. And it's not only toxic to our finances, but it's toxic to our sense of gratitude and appreciation. So what do I recommend to do to help change this habit? Well, I would love to recommend that you do maybe a bit of a spending freeze. Maybe for 1 week every month, you try and break this cycle or create a new sense of awareness. Or perhaps you go and pay for these things in physical cash rather than just tapping and waving your phone or your card or your Apple Watch. Or another great option is you try and write down, maybe in a journal or even in your phone, every time you do this, so that you can see, okay, I bought a $15 sandwich yesterday, I bought a $12 smoothie today, the day before that I bought an acai bowl for $22. When you actually write down what exactly it was, the date and how much, it's really confronting. I actually did this for an extended period of time with fashion and my wardrobe, and it really did make me aware of actually how much money I spend and how much mindless spending can go on if I'm not switched on. I found it helped really slow down my consumptions, because I think we can all very conveniently forget about what we purchased last week, the week before, or the month before. But when we have something that is actually documented, we have evidence in black and white, it really does put us back in the driving seat where we realize, you know what, I'm actually okay. I only spent a whole pile of money last month, last week, last fortnight. I can actually just hold off for a week or two and I'm going to be just fine because I've already splurged and indulged recently. This is really important that we have this awareness, particularly particularly as everything is so expensive these days. So you really might want to consider not just having some spending boundaries, but actually really paying attention to when you do spend money so that you can actually feel a sense of gratitude. It fills your cup. It gives you that sense of adequate sufficiency, and you don't feel that desire to go and buy another coffee, another croissant today, another smoothie, another t-shirt, another jumper, another pair of sneakers, because you have that beautiful, as I said, adequate sufficiency. And when you do buy something, you actually feel really good. Start making those purchases more mindful purchases and make them special and meaningful for you so that they fill your cup. Habit number 3. Ignoring your financial numbers. Now, this probably sounds a bit boring coming from a financial planner, but this is really important. And if I think back in my 20s, I think this is somewhere where I actually did go wrong a little bit. So let me share with you my mistake so it doesn't become yours, especially around habits. Now, if you don't know your net worth, your liabilities, that is your financial responsibilities, your income, as in your net income, your cash flow, your living expenses, maybe your credit card debts and the interest rates being charged on your credit card. And of course, if you have a home loan, what interest rate you're being charged on your home loan, how much money you've got in your superannuation, where your superannuation money is actually invested. You are, my friend, flying blind. Financial avoidance is a form of financial self-sabotage. If you are really serious about building wealth and you want to do this for yourself, you're going to have to get intimate with your own numbers. Stop burying your head in the sand. I beg you. This is your time to do things differently, step up and take control. So what I recommend you do for your new habit is having a monthly or even better, a weekly money date with yourself. Pour yourself a glass of wine or maybe just a cup of tea and look at these numbers. Look at the transactions on your savings accounts and your credit cards. Check exactly how much you owe on your credit cards. Check exactly how much you owe, for example, on your mortgage or your investment loans and the interest rates that you are being charged. Check your superannuation account balances and, more importantly, check how much income, that is your investment returns, those superannuation investments have actually paid you or put back into your superannuation account to grow. Check all the debts, all the savings accounts, all the investments, any passive income that you've already established and built for yourself. You've got to do this on a regular basis. Trust me on this. The moment you've actually done this, you will have a huge sense of relief and clarity. And I highly suspect that next time you'll actually look forward to doing this because you will actually start to see the progress that happens when you check in on a regular basis. And you'll actually realize that the money habits, when they're changed from toxic to productive, can really serve you in adding so much more efficiency on your wealth creation journey. Furthermore, when you do check your numbers, you check those transactions, you're forced to go back and look at, where you went wrong or where you actually had some great movements or progress. You'll really find that you start to cut down on that mindless wastage and realize how much you really do respect and want to uphold the boundaries, the healthy boundaries that come from a budget. Also, I should say this. The more often you do this, the quicker and easier it becomes. And the better you are at identifying what's working and what's not. And when you can actually see what's working because you're looking at your numbers, you could actually hone in on that and actually amplify that so that you can actually make bigger, better, faster progress in your life. This is really important. And in fact, it's something I would recommend as almost a non-negotiable. Habit number 4. Living to impress others. Keeping up appearances is going to keep you broke. It's the whole keeping up with the Joneses mentality. Whether it's trying to buy designer labels or wasting money on designer labels, a luxury car lease, a rental in a postcode that you really can't afford, or spending to look successful is the fastest way to sabotage your wealth and mental health. Now, I'm not telling you that you can't go and buy designer clothes or live in an area that you want to live or, go on those fabulous holidays or buy the car of your dreams. I'm talking about when we buy things not for us, not to fill our cup, but to impress others or to feel like we're part of a club or we have that financial flex and we're just as good as others. That is just a bottomless pit of unhappiness. It will rob you of your joy. So as confronting as it may be, and I think we're all guilty of a bit of this, including myself. I'm not immune from this at all. So I suggest that we all, and even myself as well, start measuring our success by our own sense of financial independence. What financial independence means. We should create our own definition, our own special, perfect, our own special, personal, priceless, and meaningful definition of financial independence. Looking at your passive income, how much passive income you want to build, how much passive income you have built so far, how much you want to have in superannuation, how much you want to have put away in investing, how much money you like to have in emergency money, how responsible you are with your cash flow, with your debt management, even when it comes to how much money you want to spend on travel, experiences, and adventures. Stop defining your success, your financial success, or how you're portraying yourself with the stuff that you have purchased to impress others. Bring it in, internalize, go deep. As I said, measure your own success by your own definition of financial independence and work on it every single day. You will absolutely love the clarity that this gives you, the sense, the perspective and insight you gain, and how when we actually spend money, not just on stuff, but on adventures, experiences, travel, even giving back to charity, actually makes us feel financially wealthy. Not the clothes on the back, or the car that we choose to sit in, or the restaurants that we choose to dine in. Habit number 5, not investing. Savings is essential. Savings is great. It is a fantastic habit to have. I will always recommend that someone has a savings plan in place, even if you're really focused on investing. But if you're just doing savings alone, this is simply not enough. It's not going to get you to where you need to be. I can't stress this enough. The problem is inflation. Inflation eats away at our savings. And I used to say over the long run, but actually inflation is eating into our savings in the short term right now. Investing is how you get your money to start working for you. The sooner you start, the better. And if you are waiting until you earn more, or you know more, or you feel more comfortable, you are already behind. And I say this from a place of love and care. This excuse that you keep telling yourself will stay with you as you continue on wasting precious time, and I guarantee this, you'll end up regretting not doing this for yourself or getting started sooner. I've said this before in other podcasts. If I had $1 for every time a client said to me, why didn't I do this years ago? Why didn't I come and see you, 6-7 years ago? I would not be here today. I would be literally sitting in Tahiti traveling the world. It is so important that you get started. No one ever regrets starting their financial journey. What they do regret is not doing it sooner. So please stop the excuses and get started. Start with even like $50 per week or per month into an ETF or something like I love, like a listed investment company, is a step forward to financial freedom. And once you start, that is the most important and hardest part. It's begun, ticked off, because you can actually build upon it each week or each month, even by a few dollars. Imagine starting with, say, $50 per month. And then next month, you look at making it $60 per month. And the following month, you make it look like $70 per month. By the end of the year, you'll be blown away by how much your investments have actually grown. You've taken it from being, say, a $500 investment portfolio to a $1,500 investment portfolio because you have created a healthy habit where you are not only creating a healthy habit of investing on a regular basis, you've stacked that habit. You've turned it from a regular investment plan to regularly increasing that investment plan. And you can watch your share portfolio of ETFs or listed investment companies grow from a 3-figure investment portfolio to a 5-figure investment portfolio within 12 months, even less. So now is the time to kickstart the birth of your new FIRE plan. Now, if you want to learn more about FIRE, literally Google SugarMamma FIRE on this podcast channel and you'll listen to so many episodes where I show you how to get started, how to invest in shares, how to come up with your passive income goals, and of course, there's always mindful money if you're serious about taking your financial future seriously and getting started. But please don't just save your money. Build up an investment portfolio through regularly investing and increasing that regular investment plan. That is the most important financial habit, of course, behind spending without a plan. Habit number 6, carrying bad debt. All right, credit card debt, Afterpay, personal loans. I don't have a major issue with these, but I have a major issue with these when they're not used responsibly and to your financial advantage. When they're not, they are simply wealth killers. People tend to disrespect these, and when this happens, they become financial parasites. They keep you stuck in a cycle of high interest charges, sometimes high interest charges and fees, and low or even minimal progress. If you are using a credit card to fund your lifestyle irresponsibly, that is not paying it off in full at the end of each month, it is time to reassess and take a break or even a permanent break from this particular method. So if you are someone who is carrying bad debt and they're sick of it and it's a habit that they just cannot kick, can I recommend that you use my hit list method to eliminate debt in a strategic manner. Now, there is a podcast episode I have on this channel called My Hit List Strategy, and it's essentially where you go and list all your debts from the smallest debt to the largest debt, regardless of the interest rate you're being charged. And it is a method where you reduce the number of different debts in your life rather than just simply focus on the highest interest rate. Yes, you may end up paying more in interest, but this will add greater efficiency in seeing the overall debt reduction. I have coached thousands of people out of debt, and this is something that is really effective because you can actually feel different about the way that you manage money, and you get the number and different types of debts in your life so that you can become more and more efficient as you tick that list off. But promise me this, as you start going through the gestation period of getting out of debt, whether you use like a snowball or an avalanche method or my hit list strategy, promise me you are going to learn the lesson, take the wisdom, and going forward, you never use debt in an irresponsible, disrespectful manner again. Even if it means just giving credit cards, personal loans, buy now, pay later, a wide berth. And for the record, I don't have an issue with credit cards. I don't have an issue even with buy now, pay later or personal loans. Is when they're used irresponsibly and they become a toxic bad habit in your life. Habit number 7, not having any clear financial goals. When you have no vision, your money has no direction. It literally evaporates. So what are you going to work towards? What do you want to work towards? What are the goals or things that you'd like to achieve for yourself that would leave you feeling proud at the end of the year when you look back at your achievements? When you have a financial goal in your life, it's a different shift, it's a different energy, it's a different vibe. It gives you a sense of purpose, clarity, and direction, and it allows to see where your money actually goes and allows you to see your money grow. So think about some goals that you would like to achieve for yourself. Perhaps you'd like to save up a deposit for your home, or perhaps you want to actually pay off your home, or maybe you want to go on a holiday, or maybe you want to start building passive income and have a share portfolio, or perhaps you want to start preparing for retirement and maybe even have an earlier retirement or a more luxurious retirement. Maybe you want to start earning passive income. You've got to put these goals down and give them definition and detail. They need numbers. They need a deadline. They need dates. For example, I want to save $10,000 for emergency money by the 15th of December, 2025. I want to have made an extra $5,000 extra repayment on my mortgage by the 27th of November, 2026. You need to get really clear, crystal clear with the financial goal that you want to achieve and by when. And if you have big financial goals, great, I'm so excited for you. It means that you're motivated, you're inspired, you're empowered. But what I recommend you do so that you don't give up, you don't get distracted, you don't feel overwhelmed, I want you to write that goal down, but I also want you to break it into mini goals. For example, say you have a goal to say $50,000 deposit to buy a home. Perhaps breaking it down into, say, $500 first, and that $500 savings is by the 30th of, say, August. Break it down, and the moment you've achieved that goal, then go and set another goal and dare to stretch that goal out a bit. So instead of making a goal to save $500, make a goal to save $1,000. Challenge yourself, gamify your goals, make it really fun, get excited, and really tap into the why behind those goals so that it becomes a non-negotiable habit. You can't even imagine not having a financial goal in your life because this is a healthy habit that serves you. And of course, as you're watching your savings grow or whatever goal that may, whether it be saving up for a home, whether it be investing, whether it be paying off debt, whether it be building up emergency money or paying for that holiday, make sure you go and track your progress. Pay attention to it on a weekly basis and also tap in and ask yourself, how do I feel seeing my savings account? How do I feel about transferring an extra $1,000 onto my credit card debt or my buy now, pay later? Pay attention, tap into it, acknowledge it, because that is really important to have that connection with how you're feeling as you go through your financial journey, no matter what type of goal you're working on, because this is where you realize actually how proud you are, how much more confident you are about your financial future. And you realize that all that hard work that you are taking, even the sacrifices, are definitely worth it. And you will love that feeling of the initiative, of standing up, taking control. And that will actually help further fuel your own sense of focus and motivation so that you go not just from that goal, but you go on to bigger, better, healthier goals and you never look back. All right, so there you have it, 7 habits that might be keeping you stuck and broke. And of course, more importantly, because we're a solutions team here, we don't wallow on the problems and ever play victim. We get on and fix it. We shift into solutions. So you have these solutions now. You know exactly how to change these toxic parasites of habits in your life that are keeping you broken, shift them into powerful, productive, positive habits in your life that are going to help you build wealth, help create a sense of financial harmony in your life and leave you feeling proud and empowered. As I like to say, awareness is just everything, and you are perfectly capable of making change and making change today. And you already have everything within yourself to actually do this. And I really believe in you and I really care about your financial future. So if you've recognized even one of these habits in your life, this is your invitation right now from me to you to do something about it. And of course, I would absolutely love it if you could send me a DM on Instagram and let me know what habit that is of yours that you're going to shift after listening to today's episode. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, and of course any of my other episodes, can I ask a huge favor? Can you please go and share it with someone that you care about? And if you haven't already, please make sure you have hit follow, that is, you're following this show, and leave a rating and review. And of course, making sure you're following me on Instagram at SugarMamma TV and Canna Campbell Official. Now, as always, keep that financial fire burning bright. And I will check in with you again on Friday for Start Here, our new mini-series that is here to stay. And of course, every Monday morning at 5 a.m. on Sugar Mama's Fireplay. Until next time, ciao.